Now this video is going to take a little bit of a deeper look into the concept of morph in Infinitone 2. Now this is going to get pretty far out. We're going to get into some musical territory that has never really been tapped into before. So just take it in and experience it as an adventure in sound. And feel free to stop at any point along the way, watch something again, go explore it yourself. Don't worry if you don't understand everything. You'll get it with time. It's simpler than it looks. And just enjoy what you experience here. So I'm going to start in this with a preset in harmonies, new frontiers, and a linear luminescence. Now, this is a new preset that wasn't in the original release of Infinitone. It should be out by the time this is available. And if you don't see it in your presets, then just make sure to update. So what this does is it's going to morph from one harmonic chord to another harmonic chord. So we have harmonic origin and harmonic destination here in the scale section. So the first harmonic chord sounds like this. You can see the keys are mapped, the tones are mapped here from G all the way to F. So that's the origin, and if I hit key trigger 9 down here, here's the destination. I'm going to go back and forth between 1 and 9. So you can hear that sound clearly in your head. Now we're going to get there in a stepwise fashion. So I'm going to go from start to finish, and what you're going to see here in the scale viewer here is you'll see these very distinct shapes being created that show these liminal harmonic spaces between the start and the finish. Let's do that again. So morphing can be something where it's sliding from one chord to another. Another one could be discrete steps. Now we're going to sort of combine the both. And I'm going to turn up the morph here. I'm going to turn it to 1 second. Now we're going to go from step to step in a morphing fashion. So what's going on here, you can see in the back end actually, is there's a harmonic series grid here, and there's several harmonic tones selected from that grid. That's the first one, and there's the destination, there's other ones, and what's happening is it's just stepping in a stepwise fashion down the harmonic series, step by step by step by step. And what this is called linear morphing, going and following the harmonic curvature. So what's going to happen is if I move this all the way to 8 up here, and I do just a morph from 1 to 9, and that's it, then you'll hear all of those same steps in between. Go back up and watch the visualizer here as it makes all these really beautiful patterns, where sometimes it'll coalesce into a place where it actually reaches a place of almost stillness. So that's what's happening here in this interpolation section here. This is following linear morphing. Now if I go to logarithmic morphing, it's going to create a straight line in between the 2 points. So instead of following the harmonic curve, it'll create a straight line, and you won't see as many points of harmonic resonance in between. It'll just be a cohesive slide from the origin to the destination. Now, I can also go do this in the manual section. This is also morphing from harmonic origin to harmonic destination. And you also see that I'll be able to find, as I'm going through slowly with the manual morph, I'll be able to find these points of harmonic convergence where the visualizer actually stays still and you find these harmonic resonances. So this linear versus log morph, it'll be, if you're doing a harmonic based chord progression, you'll notice a big difference between the two. If it's just a regular chord, you might not always notice much of a difference. The next kind of morph I would like to show you is in a more of a standard kind of jazz chord progression. This is in harmonies, progressions, fluid body, boundless soul. This chord progression is loosely based off the jazz classic Body and Soul. And the first part of the chord progression here in the first 3 or 4 chords is pretty standard kinds of sounds. This isn't just intonation, it's harmonic tuning, but it's loosely based on the chord C minor 9 to G minor flat 6/9. And here's the C minor 9. And here's the G minor 9, G minor flat 6/9. Resolves there, and I can morph between those two kinds of chords. The chord progression continues. So that's taking a kind of a standard chord movement with voice leading, and it's morphing from voice to voice. Now, later in this chord progression, in the chords 15 through 23, as you can see here in the key triggers, has a little bit of a different approach. I'm going to go in the advanced view here because you can't see that in the simple view right now. And what this is doing is it's taking a stepwise descent, step by step by step by step, from D minor all the way to C minor 9. And I'm going to change the preset here a little bit. Let's go to round horn. And I'm going to play these in discrete steps, and you'll hear the difference. So that's a kind of a morph. With this origin and a destination, and you go in small steps. But if I hold that down, you'll actually be able to slide in those small steps. So it's almost a double morph. You're going in small steps and you're sliding even between those small steps to get even more of a continuous kind of tone. Now, the next kind of morph I'd like to show you is a scale morph. And I'm going to go to Scales, Gradients, and Dawn to Dusk. Now what's going on here is there's 12 scales, and it starts as what I call an Ionian bright, which means Ionian is basically the major scale, but it has a really sharp major third. You can see here in the scale viewer how much sharper it is than the standard major third. And it morphs slowly, step by step, all the way down to this Phrygian narrow, which I call dusk, has a darker sound. So now what I'm going to do is from the DAW, I'm going to play a sequence, and I'm going to go back and forth between the start and the destination, and you'll hear what that sounds like. So now I'm going to do that same kind of thing, but I'm going to play these key triggers here down on the bottom. You can see them on the black keys. I'm going to go from 1 all the way to 12, and that same sequence will play, but the scale will change slightly each time it goes up and each time it goes down. There you go. And so you can have a lot of fun with that. You can always go through the whole morph like that, or you can just pick a couple of scales to morph in between. The next kind of morph I would like to show you is very, very unique. This is in Harmony's New Frontiers Chess Harmony. And this is inspired by playing chess. I would notice when I was playing chess that at the very beginning of the chess game, the chessboard felt completely balanced. The black and the white pieces were in exactly the same spot. And as soon as one piece moved, it threw the balance of the harmony of the chessboard out of homeostasis and into action. And so what I was inspired to do is create a chord progression where each chord changes only by one note, and then another note, and then another note, and then it slowly morphs through this whole entire chord progression from start to finish. And this is what it sounds like. You'll notice that I played this with just one finger on the left hand, and that's on the F key down here, which starts at the unison. And I'm going to go stepwise on the white keys all the way up through these 24 chords, and it'll end up back again on the 1. And it will morph one note at a time. Now the final kind of morph I'd like to show you is in Harmony's Effects Through the Wormhole. This is simple. It's just 2 chords, and it morphs from a harmonic chord to a unison. So all of the notes will collapse into a single tone. And you'll notice again, I'll play this with just one finger on the E key here where the chord is, and I'm going to change the chord with my second finger playing using the key triggers. There's all kinds of morphs you can do. You can morph from chord to chord, through scales, or even through a unison and expand into a big chord. Now, a brief insight into how this morphing actually works. We'll get into more of this in a future video on how to create these presets. But you can see that here in the back end. In the advanced view, you have the option of seeing just the scale display, which shows the ratios of the scale or the chord, and also seeing the tuning table. Now, each of these scale slots has just a limited number of notes in them, but what happens is it expands through a whole tuning table of 128 slots. So there's actually 128 notes being programmed per scale. And if I just click Display Scale, you'll see that each one here has, or sorry, display table. Each one here has 128 notes in it. And all that's happening is note 60 is going to note 60. So whatever is here on the first slot in note 60 is going to the second note, second slot in note 60. So that's how it works. It's going from one tuning table to another. Now, there's a lot of pretty interesting information in here, and I encourage you to go back and explore, try some of these presets for yourself, and find your own permutations and commutations, and change the synth sound, change the glide time, try auto morph, try manual morph, and see what you come up with. There's a lot of fun that you can have exploring these deeper realms of Morph and Infinitone 2.